Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. Today, I'm going to be talking about the fear of starting an online business. I know a lot of people are afraid to start a business because they're afraid of all of the steps they have to do and things they have to do to get started. This question comes from Peter, and Peter says, do you have some advice on how to get up to speed with legalities of starting a company without hiring expensive lawyers? Any resources, blogs, etc.? Is there really a reason to be as afraid as I am? How bad can the consequences really be for a small online business if I do some of the legal stuff wrong? He says, I'll give the additional info. He says here, I want to give my entrepreneurial skills a try by starting a company and selling an online product. I'm afraid to do this as I know very little about the law, tax regulations, and other such things that are necessary to run a business. This is especially true because my country has poor online selling opportunities, e.g. Stripe not available, so I'd have to start a company as a non-resident, either in the US or somewhere else. So I'll, of course, caveat this by saying I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, this is just one idiot's opinion on the internet. You're watching a video on YouTube, what do you expect? No, but I'll try to give you my best advice here, which is essentially this. More people are afraid to start businesses because they're afraid of all of the legal and administrative things and what they don't know. And so they never start the business, or they spend so much time researching this stuff or so much money and effort in crossing all their T's and dotting all their I's that they never actually get the business off the ground and actually make money. And since most businesses are going to fail anyway, and since most people who start businesses are going to give up before they actually are successful anyway, it's all kind of a waste of time. So based on that, my best advice for you is this. Do the minimal that you can do to get started with the business, to be able to allow you to sell something or to make some money. Don't worry so much about the legal implications. Again, I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice. I don't live in your country, I don't even know what your country is, but I'm at least saying from the US, there's not a lot that's bad that can really happen to you, right? I mean, you could get fined for not having a business license. There's like a few things, but for the most part though, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, like, here's the basic stuff I would do from the US. Again, I can only speak to the US. I'd create an LLC. That's easy to do. You can find out how to do that, in whatever state you want to online, or you can pay a lawyer to do that for fairly cheap, but you can file the paperwork yourself. For example, most of my companies, the LLCs are in Idaho. I'm originally from the state of Idaho. It cost me $100 to file the LLC and 2 pieces of paperwork that I have to fill out and mail in. Simple, right? I've created like 12 LLCs in the state of Idaho. So that's pretty simple. The other thing I would do is just set up a separate bank account, right? Let's just be smart about this for your business and see if you need to. You could see if you need to get a business license, especially if you're selling a physical product, or you need a sales, if you need to collect sales tax. But for the most part, again, this isn't exactly my advice to you, but I'm just saying, like, if you can avoid some of that stuff, you might even avoid creating the LLC. You might even avoid creating the bank account and just see, can you actually make some money first, to be honest with you, right? Because even that might not even be worth it, right? What's the minimum that you can do to get the idea started, to actually accept some money, to actually take some money, and to see that you're actually going to follow through and build this business and that it's actually generating money. And the reason why I'm saying this is twofold. Like I said, most businesses are likely to fail, and you're probably not going to follow through, and you're probably not going to make money. I don't mean to be, and I'm an optimist. I don't mean to be pessimistic about it, but let's just face the reality. If you do have success, you will have money. That's how you define success in business. If you have money, you can afford to pay a lawyer or an accountant to figure this stuff out for you, right? So that's a good problem to have, and then it makes sense to invest there. But you don't want to invest money until you've made some money, and if you've only made a small amount of money, you're not going to get into a big amount of trouble. That's kind of in general, right? I mean, maybe in your country, I don't know. I can't say for sure. It's definitely different in different countries. But at least I know in the U.S., from my limited perspective, not being a lawyer, not giving legal advice again, is that I don't see a lot of trouble that you're going to get into not making a lot of money. But once you start to make money, then you got to start worrying about these things. But try to keep it as minimal as possible, because money makes a lot of administrative and legal problems go away in business. And so you kind of want to scale up, right? As you start to actually generate some money and you need to keep the finances separate, then maybe you start saying, okay, I need an LLC, I need to separate the bank accounts, I need to make this, maybe I need some accounting software, maybe I need to start doing, QuickBooks or something like that. And then maybe you start to say, okay, well, now I need to start doing payroll as you start to make more money. Or maybe I need to start, figuring out how to create my LLC as an S Corp and file the taxes for that and start thinking about those things, or create a business credit card and all that. Or maybe I need to figure out what kind of licensing that I need to get. So don't do as much of that stuff as possible as early as possible. Delay it as much as possible as you can. But at some point, it doesn't mean don't do this, right? Don't get me wrong. Don't get yourself into trouble, right? And don't get in trouble for tax evasion and all that stuff. That you can get in big trouble, but that's usually going to come when you start making large amounts of money. So I would say, though, that optimize for trying to get the business up and running, to use your energy and motivation for that. And then once you're actually making money, now you start thinking about these problems. Now you actually have a business on your hand, but you don't have to worry about these things until you have a business on your hand. Because, what if it never succeeds? What if you just throw away all this money paying for this stuff or investing this time and energy? And, and I'll give you one other piece of advice here, which is if you know someone who's already running a business, and especially a similar business to yours, what might make sense, if you think that they're competent, is instead of paying an expensive lawyer to do all this stuff, go and talk to them. Let's say you're doing a freelancing business and you know someone who's a freelancer. We'll go and say, hey, look, if I give you a couple $100, or if I buy you lunch, would you mind going over, this is what I'm planning on doing, where's the holes in it, what do I need to do from a legal perspective, what did you do, could you just explain it to me? And I guarantee you, if you take someone out to a nice lunch, most people will gladly share you that. And if not, a couple $100 is probably going to grease the wheels, and then you can feel comfortable. But it's up to you. You could do either one of those things, and I think you'll be fine. Great question. If you ever got a question for me, and it's not a legal question, because I'm not giving legal advice here, you can email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com, and I will give you my layman's advice on business. All right, how's that? Anyway, if you like this video, click the subscribe button, and you can get more videos like this one, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.